Welcome back to the Working on the Dad Pod. I'm Alex. With me, as always, is Ethan. And tonight, we are picking some of our favorite Halloween candy to get into the Halloween spirit. This is a pre-recorded episode, as most of them are when you watch them, but this one's recorded a little bit in advance. So we're going to skip the story time, skip the Working on the Dad Bod, be a little bit shorter and sweeter, like your favorite Halloween candy, where we're just going to each mention some of our top candies, talk through some of the pros and cons, judge each other a little bit. But first, Ethan, tell me, what is the family dressing up as for Halloween?
So my older daughter, she is a bit of a diva. A couple years ago, she said, I need one Halloween costume for school, and I need another one for trick-or-treating. My wife obliged, and now it's a thing. And I say, I have no part in this. So last year, when I said, I'm not going to participate in this making each of them two costumes, shindig, my wife said, fine, I'll do it myself. Of course, I telework and she doesn't. She didn't get it done in time. And she said, if you don't finish sewing these last bits to our kid's costume, it won't be complete and she'll hate you forever. Of course, this was the 1-year-old who wouldn't have known. But damn it, if I'm not a sucker. So I ended up sewing during my work from home day to get it done and got no credit for the costume. So I made sure everybody knew that I finished it. But anyway, that's not the question you asked. That was a rant. I did it because my wife happens to be out of the house and she can't hear me. Anyway.
She doesn't listen to the podcast.
She doesn't listen to the podcast. This is a safe zone. Safe zone. Anyway, so this year, my older daughter said that she wanted her and her sister to be Elsa and Anna at school. So we bought those costumes. But then she said, for trick-or-treating, I want to be a donut. And I was like, you want to be a donut? She goes, yeah, my favorite kind of donut. And I said, so you want to be a chocolate frosting rainbow sprinkle donut over glaze? And my wife's giving me this death stare because each layer of that makes it slightly more complicated. So my wife bought, I guess, like beige shirts, I think from Michael's. And then there's going to be black fabric and then little rainbow fabric. And they're going to be donuts as they trick or treat for candy. So, and then, of course, the Elsa and Anna costumes, we will have. They can wear them whenever they feel like being princesses, and then we can, of course, give them to somebody else. So,
yeah. My wife and I, last week, we talked about traditions, and this is one I didn't bring up, but my wife and I's tradition is mentioning in like late September, hey, we should really figure out a Halloween costume, and then on October 30th, scrambling.
Sure.
And this is before we had kids and while we had kids. And so if you look 2 years ago, my daughter really wanted to be Elsa. She had an Elsa costume and she really wanted to be Elsa. And so my wife cobbled some clothes together to become Anna. And my wife has some old middle school and high school musical theater costumes that we still own. And one of them was like a cat costume and it had some pieces. So we got some fur, put it on my son. He was Kristoff. And I ran into Dollar Tree and they had Christmas stuff together. So I got some reindeer horns.
And you were Sven.
Painted them black. Yeah. So I was Sven and we did a little bit of a coordinated costume. My wife keeps trying to push the coordinated costume idea for all four of us. And my daughter tends to drive the ship. And like last year wanted to be a princess mermaid. And I'm like,
okay. Ariel.
No, like it's like crown, long sleeve. It was weird. Like whatever. She wanted to do it. It made her happy. But the idea of coordinating, I'm like, I don't have the physique to be King Triton. I'm not doing that to the fine people at your mother's church where we are going for the Halloween carnival. So my wife tends to do this thing where she slaps together a white shirt and like throws a belt on it and is like, I'm Han Solo. And I'm like, that's the worst Han Solo costume I've ever seen. So hopefully we're going to try and do something different. I actually got an idea as you were going over yours. I'm thinking Super Mario Brothers theme because my daughter absolutely loved that movie, and she got the nickname, we sort of call her Princess Peach a lot.
Sure.
And she can fit right in there. You know, maybe have my son be Mario, I'd be Luigi, and then my wife, instead, you'd think she'd want to do something traditional, and she's going to show up in like a Bowser costume or Donkey Kong or something. You know, yeah.
You know who was always really good at coordinated costumes? You and me.
Oh yeah. Oh
so,
yeah.
So there were 2 years, for all of you listening, that Alex and I were living together where we went gingerbread man and baker. And because we were not sober fiends, we would, at that party, I think I was the gingerbread man and Alex was the baker.
You were the gingerbread man because you're ginger.
Sure. And Alex would yell, run as fast as you can in the middle of the party. And I had
a rolling, I would just chase him with a rolling pin.
Yeah. And I would scream, you can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man. And we would run through everybody enjoying the party. That was really annoying. And then the next year, we were the Rock'em Sock'em Robots. And that one was really fun. I was the red guy. Alex was the blue guy. We got baseball helmets and they're not boxing gloves. What are those called?
Boppers.
Soccer boppers. Yeah, that's right. Red and blue. And we had the term was pledge, which is a new member of the fraternity, had a bell and would go ding, ding, ding. And then Alex and I would start sock'em bopping in the middle of the party, which also annoyed everybody. But hey, we committed to the bit and it was a great party.
We also, if I remember, as we got a few drinks into that, started using it as a way to playfully punch at people that we didn't like that much, but act like it was a joke.
Yes, we did do that.
Ha, 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 we're the Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
You know, there was the year that it was me and our other roommate, but you got into it with the actual costume making. But when we were in college, if you showed up wearing a piece of tinfoil to a Chipotle on Halloween, you got a free burrito. Now I think because of, corporate greed, it becomes you get free guac. But I think there's still some version of that. But anyway, we had all this tinfoil, and then we decided, let's dress up as knights. And we used all of that tinfoil, and we did our friend first, our other roommate, who it really... Okay, it was the first one.
The memes that go around where they say Amazon version and Wish version.
Yes.
When there's like just a severely downgraded version. Our buddy who went first was the Wish version. And I was like, that doesn't, he was super proud of it. But I was like, ooh. And so I made it much better when I went on Ethan's, and I was like, these do not look the same. I'm so sorry, man.
But it was fun. We were pretty good at costumes when we were in our youth. Now that our wives are in charge, the costumes aren't as good. Shocker.
My daughter's really in charge, if I'm being honest. But yeah, let's talk about some candy.
Sure.
Let's talk about some candy, because that's the most important part. Whatever you're dressed up as, good, bad, in the middle, grab a bed sheet, make a toga, do whatever you got to do. You want to name one of your top candies to start off?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with a pretty proud top choice where, if you don't like it, I don't really like you unless you have an allergic reaction to it. But if you're not going for Reese's whenever you can, you're a weirdo. I don't
we can still be friends. This is the clear and away number one answer. It's not. I was going to say Reese's if I went first.
Sure.
I'm looking at it right now. I've got my list in front of me. Yeah. No, it's elite. Look, again, if you're allergic to peanut butter,
by all means,
sucks for you. But I mean, you could have Reese's Pieces. You could have anything, but the peanut butter cups, I mean, they're just, they're great. They always hit the spot, Halloween or not, but they're just a fantastic treat.
I will say nothing tops the Reese's, but if you're getting into the derivatives, the peanut butter M&Ms, not the peanut M&Ms, but the peanut butter M&Ms, I believe are better than Reese's Pieces.
Okay. I could see that. I like peanut butter. I like peanut M&Ms. They're great. I think the M&M fun packs are, just are M&Ms are so great. And like, there are some that maybe we can mention if we have a little bit of time, but like, cause there are some that are awful that like, I hate getting and I feel like you get a ton of, and you're just like, okay, I don't need this much of that. But like the M&M fun packs, those are always great. And the peanuts are just elite. Obviously, I don't even think peanut butter was around when we were kids.
So it's fairly new, like within the last decade.
Yeah.
But I consider peanut M&M something different because it's like an actual peanut, not the peanut butter. Sure. But nothing tops a Reese's Pieces. I mean, not like a Reese's peanut butter cup, or even like the shaped ones. If you want to make it fancy, but when you get into the derivatives of peanut butter candy, I think that the M&M peanut butter trumps the Reese's Pieces. So
yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna list another one that I just absolutely love. It's not Reese's, but it's up there. All right. No matter what side you choose, Twix is fantastic. Okay. You get the crunch. You don't get that with Reese's, right? You might get it with Reese's Pieces and other derivatives and different things like that. And I know they have some other variations, but you don't get that with a Reese's cup. And let's be honest, most people aren't handing out the derivatives. People aren't hunting deep down. They're grabbing the bag they see at the grocery store, at Costco, wherever. And that's what they've got. And so you're going to get the hits. But one of the hits that always hits is a Twix. And, it's a little bit different. It gives you that break. It's got more of the caramel flavor. It's still got the chocolate that, most people want and need, but it's got that nice crunch in there. I'm always down with the Twix.
I think Twix is a great candy. And no real notes on that. I love the old commercials of the 2 for me, none for you. So I'm going to branch away from chocolate and say, I'm a fiend when it comes to Starburst. Original Starburst, particularly the pinks are the best. Like when you have all the Starburst, the original, the 4 flavors, orange, lemon, strawberry, cherry strawberry, which are orange, yellow, red, pink. Those are the order in which you have to eat them if you're eating them from worst to best. And if you disagree with that order, I might disagree with you, but that is a top-notch candy, Starburst. Can't beat it.
Yeah. I'm going to go in a similar vein of away from the chocolate, because there's so much chocolate. You got the M&Ms, you got the Twix, you got the Reese's, and there's a ton more out there that we may be mentioning, so I won't give them by name. But Sour Patch Kids, it's a curveball in the sea of chocolate and the sea of nothing but sweet. The Sour Patch Kids, I love them. They hit the spot in just you're in a mood for something different. Used to be, and I'll throw this in as sort of a shared pick because they're not as big of a deal anymore. But when we were like in elementary and middle school, Warheads were a huge thing. And it seems like Warheads have kind of gone out of style. But
you can still get them. You can find them.
I know they exist. I feel like they were a deal. Maybe it was just a localized thing, but like we're given out in Halloween. But it was also like a thing that kids on the bus, like there were competitions to be like, how many Warheads can you eat at the same time? Can you tweak it?
That first 10 seconds, I actually had a Warhead shortly after last Halloween. Somebody brought like their extra Halloween candy over, and it was an assortment, and there were Warheads in it. And I'm in the middle of a manager's meeting, and I'm taking a Warhead, and I wear masks in those meetings every week. I wear the mask on the metro. I wear the mask in my office, except in my own personal space. But you can even see behind the mask how I'm, fidgeting with the 15-second Warhead in the middle of this meeting, but it was totally worth it.
Yeah.
All the looks were worth it. So I'm going to go similar to your Sour Patch Kids, but this is just a personal preference. I'm a sour Skittles guy. I love sour Skittles.
Sure.
They're my favorite kind of Skittle. I like how there's a little bit more resistance than in the Sour Patch. With a Sour Patch Kid, you're not fully there, but you're veering into gummy territory. Whereas the sour Skittle, you gotta burn the chewing calories a little more. So I like the workout.
Yeah. I hear you. I'm going to throw a curveball. This one is probably maybe it is universally loved, but for me, this is one of those candies that I never get outside of Halloween. But every time I get one at Halloween, I get reminded of how good it is. The cookies and cream Hershey's bars.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Those
Those
are
slap.
good.
And I know you can find them like in the grocery store aisles and stuff like that. Again, it's kind of like Warheads. I know they exist, but it's like you get those little mini ones. And I think a couple times when I was a kid, I'd get the whole bar, and then it becomes like, this is too much. It's too much cookies and cream. I love the flavor, but those little mini ones, it's just the right amount, and they are perfect.
Yeah. I think they're great. I think that's a wonderful choice. I think a generic Hershey chocolate bar is fine, but I'm never seeking it out because it's just so plain. So I love the cookies and cream addition there. I am going to veer into the realm of hard candy and talk about Jolly Ranchers. I love Jolly Ranchers. If you just want to suck on something for a while and enjoy its juiciness, you really can't.
You want something hard in your mouth to suck on.
Yes, that, Alex. You got to go Jolly Rancher, particularly the sour apple flavor. That is my favorite.
Sour apple is the best. Yes,
I'll give a shout out. I'll give a shout out to watermelon and blueberry as well, but can't do sour apple Jolly Rancher.
Yeah, I think my next nominee, if we're building sort of our ultimate basket here, I think you got to include Twizzlers, right? Twizzlers are fantastic. I mean, you had like a Costco sized thing of Twizzlers in the fraternity house room, right? Or was that me? No, I think I had them, and you would like
that was not me.
Yeah, nope. I had like a bunch.
I'm not that big on Twizzlers, so I'm you're conflating me with somebody else.
Yeah, I must have cloudy memory, but there were definitely like Twizzlers that I would trade for Cheez-It packs, right? Because like I had a Costco size Cheez-It, and I think the guy that lived like on the other side of me, I think he was the one that had Twizzlers. And so I think I would trade him Cheez-Its for Twizzlers quite often. Those individual wrapped Twizzlers, again, you know, Twizzlers either come in a tiny pack or a gigantic pack, and you can get in a lot of trouble and feel like crap if you go through like a movie theater size bag of Twizzlers because it's just gigantic. It's not meant for individual consumption. Like you could make the case for a Hershey's bar, like, but a pack of Twizzlers is a whole nother animal. Ooh.
There's that amazing Parks and Rec episode where you meet Ben Wyatt's family, and his dad is Mike Hermantrout from Breaking Bad, and there's the Twizzlers versus Red Vines families, and it's like a feud that goes on, and I think that's what I think of now when I think of Twizzlers. So I'm going to ask you a quick question, veer from our rankings for a minute, and ask you. Was there, growing up, a fancy neighborhood or a king size neighborhood that you and your friends always knew to go to for Halloween?
They existed. The problem was it was like work to get there, right? You had to have friends in the neighborhood, and somebody's parents had to be willing to drive you. And I think for me and a lot of my friends in my neighborhood, our parents were just like, you can go get a freaking pillowcase full of small candy and just eat it and suck it up, Buttercup. Like,
got it.
So yes, they existed, and I was always envious of the people that went and got full-size candy bars. But like looking back, I was not deprived of sugar, so
sure. So
probably not something that necessarily needed to be optimized for.
Right. So there, I fully understand. So there was a neighborhood. There's a neighborhood in Los Angeles, in the Valley, called Toluca Lake, and it was a rich man's rich neighborhood, right?
Yeah.
And I did have a friend who lived there, and there were a couple. When we got older and we were driving ourselves, we decided we'd always meet at his house. But there was that if you wanted to make sure that every single house you went to was serving king size or bigger or fancier than king size, that was where you went trick-or-treating. And one of the people who lived there was syndicated radio host Rick Dees. And his house was famous every year for a Henry Ford-esque assembly line of candied apples. And normally, the rule of thumb was you never take open, unwrapped candy from a house on Halloween, because that is, according to my
Everybody
mom,
knows who he is.
right? Yeah, like everybody knows who he is, so it's like, oh, I got the candy apple.
You'll get canceled if there's a
Yeah,
razor blade this, man.
Exactly. So he had this assembly line of, I'm going to call them Oompa Loompas for the sake of the fact that, it's a candy assembly line reference. And, someone grabbed, you had your choice of red or green apple, and you'd watch them put the stick in it, and then they dip it in the instant drying. There were 3 or 4 flavors to choose from. By the end of it, you got this giant candy apple that was fantastic. And what was I going to fucking sorry. What was I going to do with that was the first use of the F word.
We'll throw the explicit tag on there, man. You rant about your candy apples.
Yeah. And you get this candy apple that, you obviously, you can't put it in the bag with all your wrapped candy. You kind of just have to hold it. It was actually super inconvenient, but man, was it tasty. And it was a good thing to eat as you're going through the trick-or-treating. Yeah. I obviously can't put that on our ranking because that is so specific to one man and his dream of supplying candy apples to kids around the world. But man, that was fun.
Yeah, I will say the neighborhood that I knew of that did all the full-size candy bars just to get it on the name-dropping competition, Michael Jordan had a house there.
Cool.
So that sort of tells you the income level that it was at. But fun fact, he was never there for Halloween. He was at a different house that he owned because he has several. I always happen to live near Michael Jordan. He lives his house is 10 minutes south of my in-laws, and he has his own private golf course down here in Florida that he owns, and you can get memberships to, but you lose your membership if you ever hold him up. He is a fast player who wants to play golf, and if you ever hold Michael Jordan up in a round of golf, you're gone. You're out of there, Buster.
So you just let him play through, yeah?
I guess, but it's insane pace of play rules, super high price, super exclusive, because he is not necessarily trying to turn a profit from it. He's just I like to recoup a little bit of what it costs me to have my own whole golf course because I'm Michael frickin' Jordan.
Sure. Hey, we use the explicit tag. Say it like you mean
it. The guy who started in the Space Jam.
Yeah. There you go.
So back to the candy list. I've got one more. There's a lot of good Halloween candy, but I've got one more that just sort of goes in my elite tier, and there's a lot of good chocolate ones. I like Butterfingers, but they're very similar. It's kind of a mix of the Reese's and the Twix that I already named. I like the Crackle. That's also the little Hershey's bars. They're also good. Mini Crunch bars is basically the same thing. I like those. But the other one that's sort of a little different, Nerds. Would love getting those little packs of Nerds. Nerds were fantastic. And I'm sorry if I just stole some of yours. If you were about to shout out Crunch Bars.
All of those are good. I'm pulling up my list right now. The only thing I didn't mention was I'm in the minority and prefer Milky Way to Snickers. And I hear that. I love the little mini Milky Ways. A lot of the same pros and cons of a Twix, but just a different
less crunch, more chew.
Yeah, more chew,
which is great. But I like them too.
I think
the Milky Way darks were so. I wasn't usually as a kid give me the dark chocolate, but the Milky Way midnight or whatever. Those are dope.
Those are good, and this is not so much Halloween, but just something I think really needs to just be talked about more. Is there's a lot of experimentation going on in the world of Kit Kat. And I think a standard Kit Kat is fine. My wife loves them, but I think they're just a mid candy, to be honest. Sure. But the key lime pie, the lemon, the red velvet. Those are 3 flavors that they have thrown out, where the key lime pie is honestly one of the best things I've ever eaten in my life. And again, you're not going to see these at Halloween because they come in the little 4-packs. But if you're ever at the grocery store and you're walking through the candy aisle just because you happen to make a right turn or a left turn, depending on where you are in the lane, and you go through and you see these strange flavor Kit Kats, take a look and maybe text me. I'll give you a recommendation. But yeah, no, if you want to try something new, because again, a standard Kit Kat, not throw shade on it, I think it's a mid candy. It's not for me. I'll eat it if you put it in front of me. I'm not going to sort it out. But some of their new flavors, they're elite. And I just want the world to know.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. A lot of these food brands now, I think, are trying to get into, I saw like a Coca-Cola Oreo and an Oreo Coca-Cola. Like it was a collab between the brands. You could get a Coke with Oreo flavor or an Oreo with Coke flavor. And I'm like, all right, and then you get the giant Cheez-It in the Crunchwrap Supremes and all this stuff, brand collabs. Sure. What's Doritos Locos Taco Bell does a lot of them. But
those taco shells are phenomenal though.
I wanted to take a minute to express a personal gripe at the sheer number. Speaking of mid candies, I don't want to say no shade if you like them, because I think you're part of the problem. But Tootsie Rolls and the amount of Tootsie Rolls I got and the amount of Tootsie Rolls that were like left was absolutely absurd. Like, I get it. They're probably cheap. I don't know because I don't go buy them.
They suck. Tootsie Rolls suck.
But here's what's worse. The fruit flavored ones. Like, Tootsie Rolls sucked enough. And then you got the fruit flavored ones. And you're like, you're not an Airhead. You're not like a Starburst.
Right.
You're just a crappier version of both of them. And I'm already mad because you're a Tootsie Roll and you're not even the best kind of Tootsie Roll, which is already bad enough. Like, Tootsie Rolls are one of those things, like, if you offered me a Tootsie Roll, like, it's 50-50. I might say yes. I might say no, depending on my mood. But, like,
I'm 75% no. Yeah, I'm 75% no. But I will say this. The Tootsie Pops, that's a solid candy.
Yeah, totally different. Feel totally different about the Tootsie Pops because they're always big, compared to like Dum Dums, right? Dum Dums are like, I'm halfway through this after 10 seconds.
There's a reason you get Dum Dums at after every haircut because that's it.
I literally one time was going to the grocery store and I told my daughter, or we were going to Home Depot, and my daughter was in a phase where she realized they had like all the lollipops there in Home Depot. And I was trying to grab something out of Home Depot. Or no, my dad was in town and he went in to grab something. And I texted him while he was in the store. But if you've ever been inside a Home Depot, like, the cell service is crappy unless you actually hook up to the in-store Wi-Fi. So he didn't get it. And when he came back, he did not know that she normally gets a lollipop from Home Depot, nor did he receive my text. And she is bawling. And so I make a quick move into the parking lot. There's a Walgreens, and I just, for about the price of the lollipop at Home Depot, I got an entire bag of Dum Dums and was like, here's a Dum Dum. And I still have that bag like 80% full in my cabinet because maybe it goes bad. I don't know. Yeah. But like, just to appease her, because I was like, this is like $3 and it's like 100 Dum Dums. It's insanely cheap.
That is a very cheap candy. And if you just want something quick, it's fine. But I'm partial to 100 grand. So I think that's like a very polarizing candy. People either love them or they hate them. I'm on the love them side. And I think, as much as I love coconut and almond in general, I don't like Almond Joys.
I like Mounds more than Almond Joys, kind of like your Snickers take. I like the Mounds without the nuts. It's just the coconut cream, the chocolate. I like that better. If I have to throw something else under the bus, like I know some people like it, but I know a lot of people hate it, and it's just like candy corn is just like
I'm
you
not a
feel
candy corn fan.
obligated. Yeah, I hate that, and if we're talking about things we hate, those little unbranded like strawberry candies.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
They're like in like a strawberry wrapper, right? And so like they're the red wrapper with like a green top that looks like a
Yeah.
strawberry.
Right.
And like
Yes.
you get them and you're like, what even is like, I obviously understand
Yeah.
it's a strawberry candy. Like your branding is great, except for the fact that I don't know the name of the brand that makes
And
it.
I don't, yeah. And it doesn't taste that good. I will also say that people love them, but they're always an afterthought to me, and I never buy them because the Milky Ways exist, as well as all the other candies we mentioned. But Three Musketeers bars, they're just kind of there, and I think they're
Chocolate.
fine. Yeah, they're fine, but yeah, I just, that I
it's
never
a
buy
texture
them.
thing. I've gone through phases where I really like the texture of them as opposed to like a Hershey's bar that's just solid chocolate where it's got a little fluff to it. But I think that those are, I'm going to throw out an underrated candy that you're not going to get much on Halloween, but you can definitely get at your grandparents' house. Werther's Original slap. Like maybe I'm an old man. I'm not going to be keeping them in my pocket to hand out like a septuagenarian, but man, Werther's Originals are really, I'm always down with butterscotch. I think that's a great flavor.
Mm-hmm. Butterscotch is good. Yeah. Yeah. Love a good junior mint unless you drop it into somebody's body in the middle of surgery.
Junior mint is underrated because you only would get junior mints at the theater. My dad would always get junior mints. It'd be like, we get popcorn, and then he's going to get his junior mints.
Speaking of theater candy that is so overrated, but some people love them, Milk Duds.
Yeah, Milk Duds are fine. I'm much more of a Raisinets guy. Raisinets, I could crush some chocolate-covered raisins, whether they're raisins.
I don't particularly like raisins, so it's never been for me. Yeah.
Snow Pops are overrated, in my opinion. Those are weird.
I used to love Whoppers, but as I've gotten older, I've liked them less.
They never did much for me.
Okay. And I'm trying to think of something else. I sometimes like a nice lemon head. It's just basic lemon candy, and you'll usually get them at somebody's house at Halloween.
They're a better version of the strawberry candies to me.
Right?
I like them a little bit more, but I'm not going to go out of my way for them.
Sure. Like if they're given to me, I'll take them because sometimes it's nice to just have a lemon palate cleanser. But I don't seek them out for sure. So
yeah.
But this was fun. I'm looking forward to Halloween, and
I'm looking forward to raiding my kids' candy baskets.
Yeah, and as you know, the following day of Halloween is a big day for me, and as well as the Day of the Dead. So to those of you who celebrate Dia de los Muertos, enjoy. And Coco's a great movie. You should watch it.
Alrighty. Well, on that weird left turn into Disney World. Thank you guys for tuning in. Just a reminder that we will not have an episode next week. And so we will see you in 2 weeks where we will be talking about something really fun that we will decide probably the day of. We'll catch you guys later. Like, subscribe,
Happy Halloween.
Friend. Happy Halloween, everybody. Thanks for working on the Dad Pod with us. Any resources that we mentioned during the show will be in the show notes. If you have questions, thoughts, or just want to talk with us, the best place is in the comments on YouTube. We're on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Threads at Working on the Dad Pod, and on Twitter at Working on Dad Pod. Following and subscribing is always appreciated. Please rate and review us. That helps get the show to new people. And if you know a dad who would enjoy our show, sharing it with them is a huge help to them and us. Have a great week.